Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. It's Funny to Tears. Today I've got a story for you that is a masterclass in public embarrassment, a symphony of supermarket chaos. So grab your popcorn, get comfy, and prepare to laugh because this one is a doozy. It all started on a perfectly normal Tuesday afternoon. The sun was shining, the birds were singing, and I, your humble narrator, had a grocery list longer than my arm. I was on a mission for milk, bread, and about 50 other things I probably didn't need but would buy anyway. You know how it goes. The supermarket was in its usual state of controlled chaos. Moms with toddlers having meltdowns over candy, elderly couples debating the price of avocados, and teenagers loitering by the energy drinks. I navigated my cart, which already had one squeaky wheel, determined to announce my presence to the entire store, through the aisles, with the grace of a caffeinated elephant. I was making good time, grabbing items with precision, feeling like a true domestic champion. I rounded the corner into the condiment aisle, my final frontier before the checkout lines. And that, my friends, is where our story takes a sharp, slippery turn. The condiment aisle is a magical place. A colorful wall of glass jars and plastic bottles, each promising to elevate your next meal from bland to grand. I was searching for a specific brand of artisanal pickles, the kind that costs a small fortune but makes you feel fancy. As I reached for the jar, perched precariously on the top shelf, my hand-eye coordination decided to take an unscheduled vacation. Instead of grabbing the pickles, my hand connected with a giant, family-sized bottle of olive oil right next to it. Time seemed to slow down. I watched in horror as the bottle wobbled, tipped, and then plunged towards the unforgiving linoleum floor. It was like a slow-motion scene from an action movie, but instead of a hero diving to save the day, there was just me, frozen, mouth agape, as this bottle of golden liquid embarked on its final journey. The crash was spectacular. It wasn't just a simple shatter. Oh no, this was an explosion. A geyser of olive oil erupted, spraying everything within a 10-foot radius. The floor instantly transformed into a treacherous, glistening ice rink. The sound echoed through the store, a sharp, glassy boom followed by a sickening glug 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 as the lifeblood of the bottle bled out onto the floor. Every single person in the vicinity stopped what they were doing. The avocado debaters, the candy-craving toddler, the loitering teens, all heads snapped in my direction. The store fell silent. You could have heard a pin drop if it hadn't already been coated in a thick layer of extra virgin olive oil. My first reaction was pure, unadulterated panic. My brain just short-circuited. I stood there, looking at the shimmering, golden disaster zone I had created. The puddle was expanding, a creeping, oily amoeba threatening to consume the entire aisle. Shards of glass glittered within it like dangerous, expensive diamonds. And there I was, ground zero, with a light spattering of olive oil on my shoes, as a souvenir. Then a man in a pristine white shirt, who had been innocently examining a jar of mayonnaise, took a step, a fateful, ill-advised step. His leather-soled shoe made contact with the slick, and his legs went flying. He didn't just fall. He executed a flawless, impromptu breakdance move before landing flat on his back with a loud thud and a surprised oof that broke the silence. A few people gasped. I wanted the floor to swallow me whole. I think I whispered, "Oh no, I'm so sorry," about 17 times, but my voice was barely a squeak. Before I could even process what to do, an elderly woman with a walker, bless her heart, decided she needed to get past the spill to reach the ketchup. She confidently navigated her walker around the edge of the puddle, tutting at the man on the floor, and then her walker hit a rogue slick spot. Her walker shot forward like a rocket, while she remained perfectly still for a split second, suspended in midair like a cartoon character who just ran off a cliff. Then, gravity remembered it had a job to do, and she went down, landing gently on her backside, looking more confused than hurt. By now the scene was pure pandemonium. 2 people were on the floor, the aisle was blocked, and I was the conductor of this orchestra of clumsiness. An employee, a young guy, probably on his first job, finally came running over. He saw the scene, his eyes wide with a mixture of terror and awe. He looked at the oily lake, at the man still trying to get his footing, at the woman sitting calmly amidst the chaos, and then at me. Did you do this?" he asked, his voice trembling. I just nodded, unable to form words. I felt like a criminal. I half expected him to read me my rights. "You have the right to remain silent and to clean up this entire aisle with a single paper towel." He spoke into his walkie-talkie. Code yellow, in aisle 7. Repeat, we have a major code yellow. Bring all the kitty litter, all of it." "All the kitty litter?" a tinny voice crackled back. "Yes, Phil, the whole pallet, and the wet floor signs, all of them." What followed was a sight to behold. A team of employees descended upon aisle 7 like a SWAT team. They brought not one, not two, but about 15 of those little yellow wet floor signs, creating a miniature fortress around the spill zone. Then came the kitty litter. A guy on a forklift arrived with a giant pallet of cat litter bags. They tore them open and began ceremoniously pouring pounds and pounds of clay granules onto the oil spill. It looked like they were trying to create a bizarre miniature desert in the middle of the grocery store. The air filled with a fine, chalky dust, mixing with the fruity aroma of olive oil to create a scent I can only describe as confused Italian cat. The man in the white shirt, now with a large oily stain on his back, was finally helped up. The elderly woman was also helped to her feet, patting down her skirt and assuring everyone she was fine, though she did give me a look that could curdle milk. As they were escorted away, I was left standing there, the prime suspect, watching the cleanup crew rake the oily kitty litter into massive piles. The store manager, a woman with a very stern haircut and a name tag that read Brenda, marched over to me. She looked at the devastation, then looked at me. I prepared for the lecture of a lifetime. I was ready for a bill, a lifetime ban, public shaming over the intercom. "Well," she said, her expression unreadable, "that's the biggest one I've seen in my 15 years here." I just stared at her, waiting for the other shoe to drop. Then the corner of her mouth twitched. A small smile appeared. "You know," she said, lowering her voice, "last year someone knocked over a whole display of maple syrup. It took us 3 days to get the floor to stop being sticky. We can handle this." She patted my arm. "Don't worry about it, honey. It happens." I was so relieved I almost cried. Brenda, the stern-faced manager, was my hero. She told the young employee to finish the cleanup and then turned back to me. "Just maybe stay away from the glass bottles for the rest of your trip, okay?" I nodded vigorously, grabbed my squeaky cart and made the walk of shame out of aisle 7, leaving behind the kitty litter desert and the ghosts of my dignity. I got to the checkout, paid for my non-oily groceries, and scurried out of the store as fast as I could. As I drove home, I couldn't help but start laughing. It was just so absurd. The slow-motion fall, the man breakdancing, the woman defying gravity, the kitty litter apocalypse. It was a complete and utter disaster, but it was also ridiculously funny. One of those moments you know you'll be telling for years to come. It's a reminder that sometimes life gets messy. Sometimes you're the one who spills the olive oil, and all you can do is stand back, hope no one gets hurt, and wait for someone to bring the kitty litter. And that, my friends, is the story of the great grocery spill of 2024. A cautionary tale about reaching for things on the top shelf, and a tribute to the unsung heroes of the supermarket cleanup crew. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any of your own public embarrassment stories, please share them in the comments below. I'd love to read them and feel a little less alone in my clumsiness. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss the next story. See you next time.